So in thinking of terms of human development, and as we grow from babies into childhood, into adolescence, and then into adulthood, it seems like the creation of a sense of self is a natural process that's a part of experiencing the mind, or the activity of the mind. It's a natural activity of the mind. And I'm wondering if you can talk a little bit about that in terms of, if that is the case, if developing this sense of selfhood is a natural part of the process of human experience, and what it would look like if it was healthy. What would healthy development look like? In other words, at what point, A, does it need to happen? And if it does need to happen, at what point does it naturally stop and we begin to be able to tap into pure awareness?
Yes, okay. Yes, it is natural and necessary for the infant to develop a healthy sense of self. An infant's early experience, in an infant's early experience, it doesn't differentiate between itself, between its own body, its mother's body, and its environment. So its experience is one homogeneous mass in which it has not yet separated itself out from experience. And the infant has to begin to separate itself out as a body. It has to realize, no, I am not my mother's body. I am not my cradle. I am not the room. I am this body. This is the beginning of the neti-neti process, in which it separates, neti-neti meaning I'm not this, that the infant begins to get a sense of what it is and what it isn't. And that is absolutely necessary for the functioning of the child. But what happens in most people is that this process of differentiating ourselves out from everyone and everything else stops when we get to the stage, I am my body. What is healthy is for that process to keep going. So to begin with, the infant, and as it grows into a child, differentiates itself from its parents and its environment. It comes to the experience, I am the body. In other words, I am not the world, but I am the body. All that's necessary is for that process to keep going. And really what we do here is the continuation of that process. Everyone here, everyone in the world, almost everybody, has the sense, I am my body, I am not the world. The world is something I observe, but I, my body, observes it. So all we do here is just take the next step back. Not only am I not the world, but I am not my body. I am the awareness with which the body and the world are known. So nature initiates the neti. Are you familiar with what I mean by the neti-neti process? It means the process, I'm sure most of you know. It's a Sanskrit term meaning I'm not this, I'm not that. It's the process by which we distinguish or differentiate ourselves from everything that we are not. So nature initiates that process that separates, whereby we separate ourselves out as a body from the body, first of all, of our mother, then our parents, then our environment. But most people stop there. Most people stay with the belief and feeling, I am the body. It is I, the body, that knows or is aware of the world. So here we take the next step. It is not I, the body, that knows or is aware of the world. It is I, awareness, that knows the body and the world. So nature only takes us so far, to a kind of halfway stage. I am the body. In the spiritual process, we take the next step, I am awareness. And that's what a healthy development would look like.
So within healthy development, is a sense of self, a psychological self, ever created?
Yes, yes. To begin with, as the infant develops into a child, it is developing a sense of a psychological self, which means a self whose identity is based in its body. In other words, its sense of itself is identical to its body. That is what the separate self is, the mixture of awareness plus the body. So what happens in spiritual practice is that we separate out awareness from the limiting qualities of the body and indeed the mind, thoughts, feelings, sensations, and perceptions. We see that none of these are essential to awareness. So yes, it is necessary to grow up as a healthy adult. It is necessary first to establish a sense of self that is rooted in the body. And children that don't do this have difficulties later in life adapting to society. And very often those people, we can't really bypass that process and go straight to the non-dual teaching. My experience is that people who have not developed a healthy sense of themselves as a mature adult and embark on a non-dual teaching, my experience has been that their encounter with the non-dual teaching simply destabilizes them even more than they are already. It sends them further back into a pre-egoic state rather than helping them to a post-egoic state. So it is necessary to transition from the pre-egoic condition of an infant into a regular ego whose sense of identity is based in its body and who is well adapted to its environment and its community, and to then embark on the post-egoic journey, which is what we do here.
Yeah, thank you.